VMX Show Season 4.
Hello, and welcome to the VMX show. This is Season 4, Episode 3, and we started off with Castlevania, Super Castlevania 4. You can't just say Castlevania 4, you have to say Super Castlevania 4, because, everything on the Super NES had to have Super in it, just like everything on the Nintendo 64 had to have 64 at the end of it. Well, that's the Treasury Room from, I think, level 9. That was a really cool level. It was a really cool game. So anyway, we got a lot of show for you. I got your questions and comments. I got a pretty cool announcement to talk about on the show. And, of course, we have the news. And Kyle, a.k.a. 666 Skater, Kyle 666. And yeah, I know, but cut him a break. He picked the name like 5 years ago when he was like 12, I guess. Well, I guess he was 13. And, we got the news as usual. So let's get your questions and comments right away. There are quite a lot of them this week. It's kind of a slow news week. There's not much news, but a lot of questions and comments. So that really makes up for it. Personally, the questions and comments that's my favorite part of the show. So let's start. Zolmagod X3 says, random question, what do you think of the Mario and Luigi games? Well, I only played the first one, which was called Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, and it was on the Game Boy Advance, and I enjoyed it. I really liked it. It was an interesting, different take on the Mario in an RPG. This is sort of, you had, Super Mario RPG, which was very, much in the line of what Squaresoft did, and then you had the Paper Mario games, which is like a completely different thing, and one of them isn't even an RPG, but very different there. But then you had Mario and Luigi, which is, sort of another completely different take. But I see it as sort of a compromise between Mario RPG and Paper Mario. I didn't play the second or third one yet, but I'll get around to them eventually. So there we go. Adelanoth says, I'm a Nintendo and Sony fan, so do you think I should get the Wii U or the Vita? Well, I don't, maybe is it really a choice between one or the other? I'm planning on getting both. The Vita's coming out a lot sooner than the Wii U, but they're two completely different things. You're talking about a handheld and a game console. Personally, and I was just talking about this the other day, I think it's stupid, monumentally stupid, to buy a console at its launch, or even close to the launch. I mean, I did it with the GameCube, which turned out okay, but for the most part, I did it with the Nintendo 64 also, but that was, I was a kid. But I think that these days you got to wait until there's at least like 10 or so games, at least maybe 15 games that you want for the system. I don't, I get a lot of people who will buy a console just based on, what company made it, which is silly because you never know how it's going to turn out, and I know people who buy a console just to get like one or two games, and then it's like they finish those games and then they just lose interest in that console, and I'm thinking you spent several $100s on that. You should get more out of it. So personally, I would wait and see what happens with both consoles. I mean, I didn't get the 3DS because, what am I going to buy for it? What am I going to play on it? My DS games? I'm not going to get Super Street Fighter 4. I have that twice on the Xbox 360. I have regular Super Street Fighter 4 and then Super Street Fighter 4. So I don't know why I would get another Super Street Fighter 4, just because it's in 3D and it's handheld. I don't know about that, And, there's really nothing else on there that interests me right now. So I figure, why pick it up? Move on. Let's see. Who sent this one? Who sent this one? I seem to have misplaced the name. Holy crap. Alright. Well, the question is, what is my favorite Mario game? And that this person's favorite Mario game is Super Mario World. But when I pasted the comment, or question, I should say, into my text file here, I somehow missed the person's name. So, here we are. It's the Moogle Master. I didn't want to not credit him. Mario World was good. My favorite is probably Super Mario Galaxy. So, there you have it. I think that they really, really hit on the nail on the head with that one. So, let's see. Antonio Greaves says, I just watched the newest episode of the VMX show. I loved your newest episode, and there's this website called, you know what, alright, where you can order games, and because I mentioned that I wanted a copy of Okami, and that I just haven't found it yet. And I don't know why people do this. They think that because I haven't found it yet, that I'm incapable of finding it if I really, really tried. I'd go on eBay and get it if I really needed to have it right now, but it doesn't work like that. It's just, if I'm in a GameStop or whatever, I look around for it. If I find it, wonderful. If I don't, oh well, better luck next time. It's not something that I have to have right now. I have so many games I haven't played yet, so I'm not going out there hunting games. Jazzmaster909 says, Hey Necro, I really enjoyed episode 2, season 4 of the VMX show. The E3 stuff was great. Now on to my question. Who is your favorite and least favorite video game boss? That's a good one. Alright, least favorite boss, and I know I'm going to sound weird saying this because it's one of my favorite games, but it has to be Deus from Lufia 2, because he was just such a pushover, very easy boss. I don't like when you get to the last boss and he's easy. As for my favorite boss, I'd say the Mother Brain from Super Metroid. That was epic. So that's just off the top of my head. XDialga361445X says, do you play Mugen? I have played Mugen in the past, and I've messed around with it. Haven't messed with it in a very long time, but it's a lot of fun. For those of you who don't know, Mugen is not really a game. It's a fighting game engine for Windows, and you could import characters that people make, and it's a lot of them are based on, like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat or King of Fighters or whatever, or some people make characters based on like cartoons or TV. So if you ever seen videos online of like Homer Simpson fighting Peter Griffin in a fighting game, that's Mugen. Mr. Lover of Ganja says, who do you think the most underrated comic book hero is? I'd probably say the Martian Manhunter. And I'm going to have to go ahead and agree with you on that. A very underrated comic character. Razaref92. Alright, I'm not going to read this, dude. This is just stupid at this point. It was kind of funny last week, but not only is this dumb, but you posted it 3 times on the video and then once on my channel. Like, isn't once enough? Once was too much. So we're just going to, move past that. Jazzmaster909 says, Hey Necro, I really enjoyed episode 2 season... Oh, I already read that. Screwed that up. Okay. Dave Cornfan says, great episode. Yeah, a lot of the E3 stuff, it's been all over the internet. In fact, it got to a point where I was sick of seeing everyone talking about the same thing. Lol. I'm hyped from Nintendo's conference. A lot of people are bad-mouthing Luigi's Mansion 2, but I can't wait for that. It was one of my favorite GameCube games, and I was surprised to have never seen a Wii game. What do you think of Luigi's Mansion? I don't know who's bad-mouthing it. That's kind of a... if you saw the conference, everybody was cheering when they unveiled Luigi's Mansion 2, and I know a lot of people are very excited for it. They felt that the game should have gotten a sequel. But there are... a few, I want to say, humor groups out there, such as College Humor, who like to bag on Luigi's Mansion, the GameCube in general, and Luigi's Mansion in particular, at every chance they get. And I don't understand. It was not a bad game. It was a great game. The only flaw for Luigi's Mansion was that it was very short. And it seems that the sequel will not be short because there are several mansions to explore. So, that being said, I think it's a great idea to do. I was surprised it took so long to make a sequel. CC George Washington says, were you surprised with the Sony Vita's price? I know you thought it may be more, but does the price fit the hardware, do you think? I thought it would be way more. I was surprised. I would say I was pleasantly surprised. I don't know if it fits the hardware or what, but I don't care. I'm just glad it's affordable. Nightwing45304 says, are you a brony, Necro? Why do you think that I'm going to know what that is? You know what? I'm going to bring my ass over to Urban Dictionary right now and find out what the fuck a brony is. What is wrong with you people? Always making up words. Let's see, brony. A name typically given to male viewers or fans of a My Little Pony show or franchise. What? No. What's wrong with you? Why would you think that? Dude. Alright, Unique Technique says, in the Ubisoft press conference, they showed off Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon being played on the 360 without the use of the Kinect function, so it gives people the option to be an idiot doing flailing jazz hands. But it also, I guess, gives them the option to play with the controller, which is good. I mean, Ubisoft didn't do themselves any favors there at the Microsoft conference. I didn't watch their conference, but it seems like I should have. I'm very glad that the Kinect feature is only an option, and they really should have said that at the Microsoft conference. So now I'm back to being interested in the game. So thank you for Unique Technique to pointing that out. 13 Duct Tape Ninja 13 says, I don't know if I heard this right, but cloud only saving sounds like an enormous bitch, as I tend to buy portable anything before a large trip or something like that, and often I tend to lose service on phones, internet, all that. The Vita should offer a toggle or something where one can save either on the cloud or on an SD card. Great example for why games like Oblivion or Fallout, where one would want to backup saves on the cloud and a current save on the card to save space. Well, I already answered him, but I'm going to say it here and also go into a little more detail. The games themselves are on SD cards, so there's going to be no problem there. And you're talking about losing phone service, but you have to remember that there's also a version of the Vita that's Wi-Fi only. And of course you'd need to be near a Wi-Fi source. Now, obviously, there's not cloud-only saving. The point of the cloud saving is not just to save the game. It's so that you can go from the PlayStation 3 to the Vita and vice versa. It doesn't mean that if you're on a trip and you're not near Wi-Fi, or if you have the 3G version and you don't have phone service, that you can't save the game. It's so that you can switch between two consoles for games that are available on both. So that's the point of cloud saving. Nobody ever talked about cloud-only saving. Boxlover RS says, hey, Beavis, check it out. We're like gonna be on TV again. Yeah, really? Maybe we'll score some chicks this time. Yeah, we're gonna score. Hey, Necro, have you heard about the new Beavis and Butthead? I heard it's going to be voiced by Mike Judge again and completely hand-drawn like the original. From what I've heard, it's going to come out on MTV this summer. I feel like I've talked about this a million times, and I'm kind of sick of talking about it, because everybody keeps saying, oh, it's coming out, and yet I haven't seen a single cell of animation yet, so it'd be really cool if it ever does come out, but so far as I'm concerned, it's only been like a rumor. VG Games, oh yeah, he sent me that terrible rap song. He says, oh my god, your reaction to that video was priceless. I can't even believe you put that on the show. The funniest thing is he doesn't even rap or do anything else in the rest of the song. Just lists the names of a bunch of games and consoles over and over again. You know, I was afraid of that. You know, I thought, you know, I listened to a little bit and I was like, oh, this guy's just listing consoles. Fuck this. And then I thought I would get a response like, well, he does like rap later on. That was just the intro, Necro. But finding out that he does that through the whole song is even funnier. So back to your comment. It's so stupid and insanely dumb that I can't help but laugh. He even brags about having the PlayStation 2 all black with the mod chip, bitch. I apologize, but hey, I gotta laugh. All the PlayStation 2s were black, so alright, never mind. Mr. Lover Ganja says, to clear up your confusion, haha, see what you did there. Slapnut is Slipknot. Oh, I call them Slipknob. Okay, so we're going to move on. Splashfire 0x says, Pikmin 3 should be on the Wii, not on the Wii U. If the GameCube got both Pikmin games, the Wii should get Pikmin 3. At least we got another Pikmin game. I still need to get Pikmin 2. That game is a bitch to find. I fully agree with you. I mean, I wouldn't mind if it was available on both, but the fact that it's completely skipping the Wii console is sad. It makes me a sad panda. Pyote says, I just beat the story of Dragon Quest IX, and damn, what am I supposed to do now with all my free time? Oh, you gotta play the downloadable content and all the side quests that continue the story. Galo was a pun on Halo. Yeah, I'd figured that out, dude. Remember? Glad to listen to the show again. I enjoy the robot voice in the beginning. Glad you like it. The Bad Blood X says, hey, Necro, I have a question. What do you think of the Call of Duty and Battlefield series of games? Call of Duty's alright. It's definitely like way overrated, but it's a good series. I've never played Battlefield, though. Awesome Gamer says, Necro, what's the biggest disappointment in gaming? A game that was highly anticipated but sucked in the end. I guess Daikatana. I mean, that was supposed to be the next big thing from John Romero, who was a developer on Doom, Doom 2, and Quake. And then you see these ads, John Romero's about to make you his bitch, and he talks about it like it's the greatest thing, and then, it was crap. I could also point out games like 2 Human. 2 Human was a big disappointment. And probably also anything from Silicon Knights, almost, it seems. I'm going to move down. GamePlayer596, and he was responding to that comment. He says, I don't know if this would be the same answer as Necro, but in a previous one he mentioned Xenogears started off great, then had 2-hour cutscenes and repetitive battles, and he pretty much said, fuck this. That is true. I don't know if it started off great. It started off tolerable, but it got bad quickly. Usora says, hey, I'm playing Tactics Ogre for PlayStation Portable, and I have some questions. I'm at Chapter 3. I've been training the main character as a ninja after having trouble in the battle with his friend or rival as a Terror Knight, but the ninjas still seem kind of weak, especially the ninjutsus doing very little damage. The highest I've seen is about 15. That is low. So is the ninja a good job for the main character? And what are some recommended jobs? What stats determine the ninjutsu damage, and how can I improve the damage? Well, obviously you improve it by leveling up. The stat that you really want to look at is the agility stat. I haven't really played the PSP version yet, but I'm pretty familiar with the game, and I can tell you that surprisingly, ninja's not really a melee combat class. That's if you have a ninja, you probably have him equipped with claws, and what you want to do is you want to get rid of those and get a bow. And because ninjas... their main claim to fame in Tactics Ogre is their movement ability. They're a movement class. And because they have such superior movement compared to other classes, they can stay at a distance much better, making them highly effective bow fighters. So you might want to look into that. Dark Phil Pick 28 says, your views on the comedian Carlos Mencia, the host of Mind Mencia and Comedy Central. He sucks. Moving on. DJ Big MC says, have you watched any of Mortal Kombat Legacy on YouTube? And if so, what did you think of it? I have watched a bunch of it. I'm not completely up to date. I haven't seen the last few episodes. I think the last one that I watched was the one with Kitana and Melina. I've enjoyed it thoroughly. I think it's great, and I think that I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of it. I just haven't had the chance to watch the most recent episodes. And finally... God Starscream just simply says, great show, man. Well, thank you. So that's it for questions and comments. Before I get to the news, I wanted to talk about... I mentioned this the other day in one of my videos that I've been in a pretty damn good mood, and that I kind of had some pretty big developments going on my end, and that I would talk about it here on the show. So here's where I'm going to talk about that. Now, if you guys remember, recently I did a video... on a game called Chronicles of the Dark Lord, Episode 1, Tides of Fate, which was a Windows game, and if you guys don't remember the whole story behind it, or if you didn't see the video where I explained how I came to be doing a video of that game, let me explain it to you. I was contacted by a game developer called Kizareth Studios, and they're the ones that made Chronicles of the Dark Lord, Episode 1. And basically, the person, Tanya, over at Kizareth, she's the CEO of Kizareth Studios, she contacted me over YouTube and said that they were all, at Kizareth, they're all big fans of my channel, and they wanted me to have the game free of charge, which is normally like a $10 value for downloading, or $15 for the actual boxed copy. And... they sent me a download link, and at first I actually kind of disregarded the email because the way it works in my email is whenever I get something that I want to respond to but don't have the time to respond to it right then, I mark it off with a red star. Anyone who has Gmail, you know about the whole star system, especially if you use Google Labs like I do. And if it's something that's a request, I'll mark it off with a yellow star. So I saw the email and I wanted to respond, but I didn't have the time. I was like running out the door, so I went to put a star on it, but I accidentally, instead of putting a red star, I put a yellow star, and then I forgot about it. So I wound up basically, just ignoring their email because I filed it under requests. So because the request list is so long, I don't have to really update it that often. So one day I was like, well, I got all these start emails and shit. Let me update my request list. And I was updating and I came across their email. And thankfully it was only a week after they sent it. I was like, oh shit. And I read it. And so I responded. I said, I'm sorry for, not responding right away, but I'm downloading your game right now and blah, blah, blah. And I'll do a video on it. And to make up for the fact that I didn't respond, I decided to do the video the very next day rather than, just putting it on the request list like I normally would do with somebody who asked me to do with a homemade game. So, that being said, I played the game and enjoyed it thoroughly. And if you haven't seen that video, I do recommend you check it out because it was very funny. It's a half hour long and shows off the game. The game's prologue, mostly. And anyway, so I did the video. And Tanya contacted me again and said that everybody there really enjoyed the video and blah, 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 blah. And they said that they would send me the sequel when that comes out, which the sequel, which is called Chronicles of a Dark Lord Episode 2, War of the Abyss, should be coming out just about the Christmas shopping season. So anyway, we talked back and forth, and I wound up adding a bunch of people, such as Tanya and a bunch of other people that work at Kisrith Studios to my Facebook friends, and I got to talking to them. And one thing that I was doing is I was looking through the Facebooks, and I was looking through the pictures of the sequel and stuff, and I also saw something that I didn't know at the time, that there is a boxed version of Chronicles of a Dark Lord. You can actually get it on a disc in a box and everything. But I saw the cover, and it had one of the worst box arts ever. It was just, it looks like somebody did it in MS Paint or something. And I hope that the person who made it isn't listening to this, because I don't mean to insult you, but it looked very, very, very below the standard of the game itself, which is, I've been playing it, and it's very fun. To describe it, initially I sort of described it as a cross between Final Fantasy IV and Lunar the Silver Star. And there's also, I found elements of Phantasy Star in there. I found elements of Lufia 1 in there. And it's really just, if you like old school RPGs from the 16-bit era, Super NES and Genesis, then you would like this game. So I was just kind of appalled by how, subpar the box art was, and I thought to myself, I can make something better than that in Photoshop, So I opened up Photoshop, and I said, let me make a box art for this, just as, as a lark. So I made this box art for it, which I didn't have much to go on, so it was just sort of an abstract thing with, because the game's called Tides of Fate. I used water, and they did have, a watery effect on the original art, but it wasn't very well done, so I rendered, a sort of a Starburst background thing, and then I rendered some water, and I put them in layers so it looks like, kind of a sunset reflected on water, and I did some text, and I spent a lot of time on it actually because I was bored that day, and I was I've been wanting to do more Photoshop stuff. So I made this box art, and as a joke, because I was just doing this as a lark, remember? As a joke, I put the Xbox 360 border around it, which was kind of amusing, because I thought the game should be on Xbox Live Arcade Indie games, because they do have similar games, they have that game Cthulhu Saves the World, and the far inferior to Chronicles of a Dark Lord, but it's up there, it's got similar sort of old school graphics and presentation. It's not as good. So anyway, I posted it on Facebook, and I tagged a few of the people that work at Kisrith, and it seemed like within minutes, Tanya, the CEO, was on the IM program on Facebook and started talking to me, and basically they loved it so much that they decided that this would be the official box art from then on. So anybody who buys it from now on will get the box art that I made rather than that old crappy one, which is pretty cool. I mean, obviously we won't have that Xbox 360 border around it. We took that off and put a Games for Windows Live on it. Well, not live, just Games for Windows, because it's not an online game. But that was pretty cool, and I'm credited in the game itself. I do get royalties for that once the game, starts to sell better. And they asked, if I could do box art for the rest of the series, and I said sure. And I created a box art for the second game, which is coming out later this year, Chronicles of a Dark Lord, Episode 2, War of the Abyss. And this time I was actually trying to make something really awesome rather than just messing around. So, anybody who wants to see these, just IM me on whatever, and I'll show them to you. But that one came out really, really good, and they were really, really impressed. So we're in talks to do a bunch of things. This series is planned for 6 games, and like I was talking to Tanya, and she mentioned that starting with the 4th episode, they were thinking of implementing voice acting, and I was like, oh, well, I gotta tell you, I do voice acting, and I showed them, a couple things that I had done, and so we're actually talking about the possibility of me playing one of the major characters in the game when that comes out. Not sure which character, but I'm angling to play the main guy, Magus. We'll see what happens, though. It's obviously up to them. And, so that's really cool. One thing that does translate to you guys, that's just all why I've been in a good mood, but one thing that does translate to you guys is one of the things to thank me for making the box art, the first one, is they're sending me, they offered to send me a copy of the game, a box copy of the game signed by the development team. And I thought of a really cool cross-promotion, which we're going to do. So they're going to actually send me 2 signed copies, and for one of them I'm going to keep. And the other one I'm going to sign myself, and we're going to be giving it away on my channel. So I'll be giving away a signed copy by myself and the entire development team of Chronicles of the Dark Lord, Episode 1, Tides of Fate, sometime in the near future. And it's going to be a real simple thing. I'm going to do a video explaining it. It's not going to be like a big contest. You don't have to actually do anything. All you're going to have to do is just post a comment on the video. And that's all. As long as you post a comment on, I'll explain the rules and everything, but it's going to be so cut and dry that there's going to be no issues whatsoever. So look for that. That's going to be a giveaway on my channel, as sponsored by Kisrith Studios. Check out their game. It's fun as hell. I've been playing it. There's a demo available. Their YouTube page is just Kisrith Studios. That's KISERETH Studios. I think that's how you spell it. It's exactly how you figure. So you might want to check that out. Well, anyway, let's get to the news. There's not a whole lot to talk about in the news, but some pretty cool stories, so let's get to that. So first off, to talk a little bit about the Wii U, we don't know exactly when it's launching. We do know it's launching sometime next year. Well, the launch window of it may have been leaked, surprisingly not by Nintendo or anyone affiliated with them, but by their old rival, Sega. They talked about, this is the president of marketing for Sega, Alan Pritchard, and he was asked whether or not a Wii U version of Sonic Generations would be in the works, and this is what he said. The timing just doesn't work. Generations releases this November, and the Wii U is coming out next spring or summer. I think one of the things we don't have to do, or reduce when possible, is we don't want to port games, and blah, 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 we're awesome, blah, blah. So, he was saying that, it'll be on the PS3, 360, and 3DS, but he doesn't want to release a port of it 6 or 8 months after. Well, first of all, I question this, because I don't really know that the president of vice president of marketing at Sega would necessarily know the launch window of the Wii U, and would he be foolish enough to actually say it, blurt it out like that. And secondly, I do find it questionable because he's talking about we don't want to port games. Didn't they release Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on the on the GameCube to huge success several years after? Well, not several years, but like 1 or 2 years after it came out on the Dreamcast, and then they released Sonic Adventure 1 on the game. So, I don't know what they're talking about. I think that, whatever. I don't know how true that is, but I did want to get it out there. Now, I do have several news stories here about the anonymous hackers who have attacked PSN. First off, I want to mention that a lot of other things have been hacked. Nintendo got hacked, Codemasters got hacked, Epic Games got hacked, Bethesda got hacked, the list goes on and on. But I mentioned last week that they had made some arrests in, I think, Spain. They've made more arrests. This time 32 people were arrested in connection with the hackings, and this was in Turkey. They had a whole Operation Turkey hacking plan, and they've been arrested. And let me tell you, I've seen movies about Turkish prisons, and I'd feel sorry for them, but no well. Back to the Wii U again. A lot of people have wondered whether or not The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword will be available for the Wii U. If you remember, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess was originally going to be a GameCube exclusive, but then they announced that they had a Wii version, which was actually released about a week before the GameCube version. Well, Nintendo has confirmed that The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword will not be delayed and will not be released for the Nintendo Wii U. It will only be released for the Nintendo Wii. So, I have a quote from Reggie himself. He says, "Last time you had a dual release of The Legend of Zelda. It could run on the GameCube or on the new Wii. It looks like there is no opportunity for that this time." So, that's a good confirmation, I guess. I have to talk about a weird thing with Modern Warfare 3. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, they made this fake cover of Time magazine with... It was interesting. It really looks like almost like a real Time magazine. It says "World stands on the brink." It's got like a room, New York City, and actually, this is interesting. Fake covers of Time magazine are not uncommon in fiction. You see them all over the place. But this is the first time that Time magazine has given their blessing for a mocked-up version of one of their covers for a video game. So that's kind of interesting. Let's see. Now, here's some more E3 news that kind of slipped under the cracks. So, they weren't like big news, but now that E3 is over and done with, we can wrap up the E3 news with some things that you may have wondered about and now can know, or maybe you did wonder about but are interesting. One thing to talk about is Luigi's Mansion 2 and Mario Kart for the 3DS. Both are being developed by outside studios. Luigi's Mansion 2 will be developed by Next Level Games, and Retro Studios will be handling Mario Kart. So that's interesting. Beyond Good and Evil 2 has been delayed and delayed and delayed, and now it looks like it will not be released on the current generation of consoles, which is actually an exact quote from Michel Ancel, who has been working on the game for a long time. Now, I mean, he could be referring that it could come out on the Wii U next year, but he could be talking about even further in the future. There actually is a new Pokemon game coming out for the 3DS. At the Nintendo press conference, when Reggie started talking about Pokemon, a lot of people were cheering, but then he was just talking about the Pokedex thing and not a new game like people assumed. Well, they are having a new game, a new Pokemon game coming out for the 3DS, and it seems to be a fighting game sort of in the vein of like a Super Smash Bros., but with a top-down 3D perspective. It's called Super Pokemon Scramble. So there's that. So that's going to be hitting the 3DS store in Japan late July, and probably North America not too far after that. This is one thing that I had wondered about personally, and it's unfortunate, but I can confirm that the Wii U will not play GameCube games. Oh well. Oh well. You might want to keep your GameCube or your Wii around then, but yeah, well, whatever. There's that too. It does open the possibility that GameCube games may appear on the Virtual Console for the Wii U, so there's that. Redbox is if you've ever heard of Redbox, it's like a vending machine where you can rent movies. You rent the movie for $1 and you get the DVD, and then you just return it the next day. And if you don't return it, it just charges your credit card like $1 per day until you do recharge it. It's become very popular. Well, they're now going to have
video games. And since video games are a little bit more expensive than movies, a lot more expensive, they will be $2 per day, and they will include new releases such as Duke Nukem Forever and Brink, as well as family-friendly titles like Lego Pirates of the Caribbean. They will be available for Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and Wii. No news yet on whether or not PSP or 3DS or DS games will be included sometime in the future. And this is happening actually right now at 5,000 locations nationwide. So that's pretty cool. Here's an interesting story. A YouTube user by the name of Master of Audio Surf had uploaded some videos of Duke Nukem Forever, and he got in trouble for it. 2K Games had the videos taken down, and he got a copyright strike on his video. On his account, rather, and you'd think that's kind of weird. A lot of people are uploading gameplay videos. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't violate copyright in any meaningful way at all. So what happened? Well, apparently 2K Games just made a mistake, and they apologized. They had the videos restored. His account was restored to good standing, and they actually sent him a whole bunch of Duke Nukem Forever related swag. He got like a belt buckle and a shirt and a beer glass and a shot glass and a whole bunch of stuff. From what I understand, he's going to be giving away a lot of it, not on his channel, but to people that he knows. But that's pretty cool that they made a mistake and then they fixed it. But they did make some other mistakes that they didn't fix, and this has to do with the bad reviews that Duke Nukem Forever is getting. Well, Eurogamer has apparently been blacklisted by 2K Games, which is basically, it means that they're not going to be sending Eurogamer any more review copies, advanced review copies of any of their games, because they're pissed off that they gave a bad review to Duke Nukem Forever. And I gotta say, this is incredibly unprofessional. When you send a review copy of a game to somebody, you have to accept the fact that they have the right to give it a poor review, and not sending review copies out does not endear you to the public or to gaming journalists. So that's pretty amazing. Also, they had an independent public relations firm called the Redner Group. They were actually fired from representing 2K Games for threatening to withhold review copies. So you'd think that they kind of get it, but then they went ahead and they blacklisted Eurogamer. So I don't understand what that's all about. So there you go. And my final news story, we have a return of downloads to the Nintendo Store. So I can finally do this again. So new for the Virtual Console this week is Mega Man 5. It's by Capcom. It's on the NES and will cost you $5. Guide Mega Man through 13 action-packed stages and defeat all 8 of Proto Man's robots. Then get ready for a fight that pits brother against brother in the battle of the century. And that is on the Wii's Virtual Console. And that's really cool. Mega Man 5 was a great game. There is a new WiiWare game out called Bit.Trip Flux demo version. Get ready for classic paddle-based gameplay as the acclaimed Bit.Trip series comes full circle with Bit.Trip Flux, Commander Video's final adventure for the Wii. Snail Mail. Bit.Trip Flux. Well, you know what? It doesn't say how much it costs, so I would assume it's free. Snail Mail from Sandlot Games. This will cost you $6. Guide Turbo the Snail as he rushes to deliver intergalactic mail to the farthest reaches of the universe, and Snail Mail, a fast-paced racing adventure for WiiWare service from Sandlot Games. On the Nintendo eShop, that's on the 3DS, you can now get Donkey Kong for the Game Boy version. It's $3.99. The Game Boy version of the classic arcade game returns. Donkey Kong has once again kidnapped Pauline. Challenged by many perils, Mario must reach his arch-rival in order to save our damsel in distress. And on the eShop for DSiWare, you can get Gold Fever for $5, or $5. It's also available on the 3DS. Take a trip back in time to explore the great American gold rush in this irresistible arcade puzzle game. Zemo Mahjong Fanatic is available for DSiWare for $2, and it's also available on the 3DS. Finally, Mahjong That Isn't Simple Match 2 game. Zemo Mahjong Fanatic is much more than a simple matching game. Zemo uses real Mahjong rules with an innovative game play that will challenge your timing, skill, and luck. I don't know, for $2, I guess, how could you really fuck it up? Hidden Photo is available on both the Nintendo eShop for DSi and 3DS. It's $5. Snap, Create, Play. Hidden Photo tests your powers of observation with fun brain-twisting challenges. Locate hidden objects, words and faces in a variety of photos, or spot the difference between two photos. I don't know, sounds like Highlights magazine to me. And finally, we have Beach Party Craze available for DSiWare or for the 3DS for $8. There's no party like a beach party, and there's no game like Beach Party Craze. Cater to the needs of your sun-kissed clients as you manage every aspect of a swanky coastline getaway. Prepare to serve drinks, rent diving gear, build rides, stock your souvenirs, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I guess Beach Resort Tycoon, you would call that. Well, anyway, that's it for the news. Let's get Kyle in here. He came by earlier this week to talk about his channel and some things that were on his mind. So let's get that done.
Hello, Kyle.
Hey, are you alright?
Okay, so you're calling me from the UK.
Yeah, 2 a.m. here, actually.
Oh, man, it's only 9 p.m. here.
Okay.
But tell me about your channel a little bit.
Well, my channel started ages ago, and I was just doing occasional videos now and then.
And you're
I did-
666 Skater Kyle 666, so people know where to find you.
Yeah, sorry about the name, guys. It's a really old channel. I made it like when I was about 12.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so it started off a while ago. I just basically did some tutorials on like Photoshop and stuff. That's all gone now. And I've just recently started playing through Link to the Past on SNES. So I'm just looking to get a lot of Let's Play videos, and I've got sort of ideas for a few features once I start getting more viewers.
Okay, and let me ask you about the Zelda thing. Is this you've played this many times before, or is this like a blind?
Oh yeah, I've got it on. I've got the old cartridge and everything.
Okay, great. And I'd always like to see. I'd love to see somebody who's never played it before kind of go through that.
Well, actually, I've got a vote on my channel at the moment. Actually, for my next Let's Play. And
what are the choices?
I did it similar to yours. You know, where you had these sort of buttons at the end which clicked to vote.
Yeah.
And those are all games which I've never played. I've played like 5 minutes of them each, and that's Super Metroid, Castlevania 4, and Mega Man X3.
Ooh, wow. Why X3 rather than 1 or 2?
I think it might have been just the only ROM I had.
Oh, okay.
So it's just convenience, basically.
Because X3 is much harder than the first two.
Oh, that should be interesting.
Yeah, especially the end, it's kind of insane.
Yeah, well.
You might want to get a guide for that one.
Well, I was actually thinking the way I was going to do it was sort of a bit how you do your Let's Fails, where you sort of
just try and get as far as you can.
So I was thinking maybe 10, 15 videos.
Okay, that works. And Castlevania 4 by comparison is rather short, because you could probably get through that in a couple of videos.
Exactly.
But
then again, I'm taking a lot of time with Link to the Past. I'm on like 20 videos, and I've done like 2 of the Dark Lord dungeons. So
No, really?
I forget a lot. Basically, I get to a point where I forget.
So is there just a lot of you just wandering around, going, "Oh, what the fuck do I do?" Like,
there's a good chunk of it. I'm getting better at that.
Because I back when YouTube only allowed 10-minute videos, I did that in 18 videos. The whole game. So.
Well, actually, I've just started using the website Justin.tv. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, the live streams. And I've actually been watching a guy playing through it live, a speedrun of it live, and the guy goes through it so fast, it's insane. It takes like 2 hours.
I can't imagine 20 videos and you're only up to...
Terrible.
Like, what are you doing? Do you die a lot, or...?
I've died a few times. I've got to a point where I've had to use save states a couple of times on some bosses, because I've gone into the boss with like 1 heart.
Are you trying to use a keyboard, or do you have a controller?
I have an Xbox controller, but I've lost it. So what I've just done, I've just recently, a few days ago, ordered a converter for my PS2 controller. PS1.
You know
PS2.
what? It's a much better investment to just get a PC controller.
You really?
They're much more reliable. You could use them for a wider variety of things, and they often have designs very close to either PS2 or Xbox controllers.
Well, as soon as I find my Xbox controller, I'm just going to use that again because it was great to use. But my mum's boyfriend took it off me for some reason. And
well, the thing about, I got nothing against the 360 and its controller, but if you're playing old school games, a lot of times you're going to be using the D-pad.
I know what you mean.
You want to have something with a better D-pad, you know?
Yeah, that's the problem with the Xbox controller. The D-pad just sucks.
I mean, I would just spend the $40 or I don't know £30 or whatever the fuck it would be on just like a Logitech Rumble Pad like I have, and it's great, you know, because you use it for PC games too. But I'm just imagining 20 videos and you're that far. Like I just do you do is this a informative or is it are there comedy involved? Like what? I'm intrigued.
Sort of combination. I sort of like my comedy sort of. It's not like laugh out loud like you sort of go for it. It's more like a observational. So there's like a bit in.
So
one
maybe
of the first...
do you go up to every single character and you talk to them and say the voices and shit? I'm just trying to imagine how you'd stretch it out that far.
I take my time with it. The sort of thing I do. So I say it's sort of observational comedy. It's sort of like in one of the first videos, you go into the castle dungeon.
Yeah.
I knock one of the enemies down the hole, and I'm like, why does a dungeon even need an infinite hole?
Wow. Why not? If you have the ability, why would you not get one?
But fair enough. Put your guards right now. At least put a rail there. I mean, come on.
Well, what's the point of having this bottomless pit if you can't throw people in it?
Well, I don't think you want to throw your own guards in it.
Well, that wasn't the intent.
The fact that they've also got a coal bunker outside, which leads straight from some bush into an underground passage.
I don't think they knew about that.
It's right next to the castle door. How can they not know?
Well,
about
there
it?
was nobody bothered to rip the bush up until Link came along.
No,
Zelda knows about it.
He comes out obviously because he comes out of the bunker thing, which is right next to the main door.
Yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Check that out.
So maybe they knew about the bunker, but they didn't know about the entrance from outside the castle.
They've got two guards down there guarding a chest which contains magic.
Yeah, but maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't know. Maybe they didn't know that you could access it from outside. You know what? Zelda knew about it, so she probably used to sneak out and see her boyfriend or something using that thing. She's like, "Oh, I'm going to go see Brad over in the west side, and he's going to fuck me good,
Yeah.
That's what I imagined Zelda doing, and she's climbing up a rope,
Goes and sees the bug catching kid.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, God. That's why he was sick, right? Because she gave him syphilis.
Yeah, probably.
There you go. All right, so yeah, you're doing Zelda 3, and you're planning on doing either Castlevania or Metroid or Mega Man X3.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are good choices, and I don't know if you want to say this or not, but what is winning right now? What has the most votes?
Honestly, my votes on those videos are so low that they're pretty much tied up.
Okay, so hopefully,
but 3 votes each. It's ridiculous.
Well, hopefully, people will hear this; they'll be interested, and I got to check your channel out now because I got to see what
you
the
have
fuck
done in
you're
the past,
doing.
Actually.
Yeah, but I don't always actually go.
Yeah,
I'm actually going to watch your videos now, and I got to see
what the hell I'm doing.
What the fuck you've been doing for 20 videos that you're only on the swamp one.
Yeah. Another habit I'm getting into, actually, it's really annoyed me. I've done it again. It's the second time I've done it during this Let's Play. Is finishing a section and then forgetting to save. So I'm having to repeat a whole section off camera.
Oh man! But you don't show that.
No, that's completely off camera.
Because I done that once, and I was like, never again will I do that. So I make it part of my ritual to save right before I close the emulator.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. Another thing, I keep saving over the same state as well.
Well, that's it. Yeah, that's what you should do. But
I mean, I save over the one I should be loading.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, you can't do that. But yeah, I did that once. I'm trying to remember what game. I think it was the very first playthrough I ever did, which was the original Zelda. And I
haven't seen that one actually.
It was 2 years ago, And, that was back, like, I was playing with a keyboard, like you probably
Yeah.
are, And, yeah, I mean, I was actually very frustrated with Link to the Past because I was trying to play it with a keyboard, and although I'm really good at it, towards the end I was having some, derf moments.
Yeah, I've done that a few times.
So I was like, at the end I was pissed off. I was like, okay, Necro VMX, I'm done. That's, episode 18, and that was my worst play ever, that game.
Yeah.
So, if I ever, but let me tell you, if I was ever to redo an old playthrough, I would do Zelda 2 over again.
That's another game I've not played.
Well, Zelda 2 is considered to be, like, very hard by a lot of people.
Heard.
And I played through it pretty much okay. I did have some problems because I was playing with a keyboard and it is a side-scroller at points. And people were saying, oh my god, I have such struggles with this game, and you just blast through it like it's nothing. You only died 4 times. And I'm like, trust me, if I had a controller, I wouldn't have died at all.
Shit. I thought it was a side scroller throughout the whole game.
Well, the overworld is top-down, but when you're
right.
in like the towns and the dungeons, it's side-scroller.
Is there enemies in the overworld, or is it just...
Well, it's kind of like it's kind of like random encounters. Like when you step off of when you step off of the path, like these little blobs and like enemy things appear, and when you touch one of them, it goes into a side-scrolling section. But you could avoid them if you're quick enough.
I'm gonna have to give that a try. It sounds.
But that's like how you would grind. Is you would go like if you wanted to like level up your attack.
Oh, it's the level system as well.
Well, it's 8 levels for attack, for defense, and for magic.
Oh right.
And so it's got like a lot more of the tropes that you would see in a lot of other RPGs, while at the same time it's more like an action game because of the side-scrolling. So it's sort of a weird game, but it's one of my favorites.
Sounds... Yeah, I'm gonna have to try it.
Okay, so you were telling me earlier that you also wanted to talk about people, just generally people in the gaming world. So why don't you tell me what you have to say about that?
Okay, basically, obviously, with me being... I'm 17, so...
Yeah.
Still in school. And it just seems the general demographic when it comes to video games is if a game doesn't have, like, a top-quality multiplayer, it's not worth playing.
So, a lot of the people around you see gaming as strictly a social thing.
I don't think it's even that. I think it's just... They just think COD... FIFA, and that's all they know, and it's all they're like sort of willing to venture into.
Of course, when he refers to COD, you mean Call of Duty, right?
Yes, yeah.
So but but they're buying it for the multiplayer, so they see it as a kind of a get together, play it together. But they're not really doing single player stuff.
Yeah, basically.
See, and this is funny because a lot of people think of FIFA. That's not popular here, but I imagine there it's very popular.
Oh, yeah.
For the equivalent in America would probably be Madden.
Yeah.
Now, and I think that a lot of people, they look at games like Call of Duty and Madden or Halo or, a lot of those types of games, and they see this as being the hardcore, quote, hardcore, unquote. And to me, I see people who are playing it, they're buying it only for the social interaction. So to me, that is the very definition of a casual gamer. So I kind of have like when people come on, I want to come on and talk about casual and hardcore, and I'm like, I have a very different perspective on it. Because if you're buying a game only to play with your friends, then to me, that you're not playing the campaign and getting involved in like the story and everything, then to me that's casual. Yeah,
hardcore. You got to be one of those guys sat in the dark for days on end, pimples on your face.
Yeah, yeah. The people who play RPGs that are like 60 hours long,
in a single sitting.
Oh man, that's a bit rough. I can't even do that.
No, definitely
a single setting. I can't play. I don't
think I've ever finished a turn-based RPG, to be honest.
Never, not a single one.
God, I can't think of any that I finished.
That's funny. But
I've played through a good few, but I've never finished them.
But you finish like the more action-oriented RPGs, like Zelda, obviously.
Yeah.
So you definitely prefer when there's a little bit more input involved.
That's the thing. I do prefer the turn-based ones for like the most part.
Oh, but you just
I just never get to the point of finishing them.
What do you get distracted by something else?
I think it's the difficulty curve more than anything.
Oh, so you don't
it's
grind
not
up a little?
it's not the problem that it becomes difficult, but it's that with the action RPGs, it's just the curve is a bit more shallow, basically. Whereas
because once you get good at it, you're good at it.
Yeah. Whereas with the turn-based, you have to obviously keep going.
Yeah. And sometimes you have to worry about not only your levels, but strategy as well. So, wow, I'm just, like, thinking, like, you've never beaten, like Final Fantasy IV.
I've never even played 4. The one I've played 6, 7, a bit of 9, 10, 10, 2, and 12.
You didn't even beat 10-2? That's like 5 hours long. It's a short game.
I got stuck on a bit because the mission told me to go somewhere. I went there, and then I just got completely confused, and I talked to everyone I could. I had to dig up something, actually. I was in a desert, and I had to dig up something, and I couldn't find where to dig it up. I had to get a permit to dig or something.
So you just get frustrated, and you just, like...
I think I just came to a point where I didn't play it anymore, then I started playing something else and completely forgot about it.
So what you need is for somebody to, like, sit down and tell you how each one of these games ends, so you can...
I know how they end. That's a bit...
Oh, okay.
I get bored. I end up finding out how they end, obviously.
Okay, good. Because I would imagine that would drive me crazy if.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Final Fantasy series as well.
Okay.
I like to think anyway. I mean, I have like Advent Children stuff on DVD.
So, what games are coming out that you're looking forward to?
Honestly, I don't buy games as soon as they come out.
Yeah. But there's nothing that interests you that's coming out?
Skyrim does look interesting, to be honest.
Well,
Skyrim,
of course, yeah.
I mean, especially with the sort of roaming dragon AI, that's definitely impressive. That would really make for a more varied game.
It could be a very scary experience.
Yeah,
too, from what
especially if you're a very low level.
Yeah, or if you just let's say you just fought like a bunch of bears and you're just trying to drag your ass back to the town, and
the dragon,
and you're like, I just got to make it to the town, and then you get into the town, and then the dragon decides to attack the town while you're there.
See, the thing I'm confused because I watched the E3 conference on that section. They didn't mention anything specific about the leveling system, so I'm quite confused how they're going to do it.
Well, it's a soft cap up to 50,
right?
Which means that. Well, have you played any of the previous Elder Scrolls games?
I'm looking at the icon for Oblivion right now.
Okay, so, alright. There's no classes in Skyrim, and there's no, like, major or minor skills. Yeah. So all skills that you level go towards leveling up.
Okay.
So what it is, it's going to be, actually, if you've ever played Fallout 3, it's going to be kind of like that.
Oh, I've never played that, no.
Okay, well, it was made by the same people.
The first game.
You're gonna level like really fast in the beginning, and then it'll slow down. And the soft cap means when you reach level 50, like each level you get perks.
Right.
But once you reach 50, there's no more perks, which pretty much means that's the level that you're going to end at. But you could go further than that. It just takes a long time.
So are they still doing the enemies level with you approach?
From what I've heard, it's more like the third game, Morrowind, where there's going to be some scaling, but there's also going to be more variety. So, because Oblivion kind of had that problem where once
if you leveled the wrong skills, and basically you're fucked.
Well, if you got to like around a level, 30, then everything was like so powerful and took so long to beat that it just became tedious to fight monsters.
Yeah. And obviously, if you level up skills like athletics, you're never going to get anywhere.
Well, you might need that athletics to run the hell away.
Yeah.
Oh, get me out of here, But in this, all of the skills are going to contribute to the actual levels. So if you spend, all your time leveling, something stupid, you're still going to level.
Right.
There's no.
So it's going to stop the whole swimming into a corner trick with an elastic band.
Well, no, I mean you're still going to have stuff like that, but the thing is that there's a way to play Oblivion where you pick the skills for major skills that you're never going to use.
Yeah.
And that way you can become very powerful but stay at level 1.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to do that anymore because then you have this guy who has 100 and heavy armor and blunt weapon and is going around killing everything that's level 1.
Yeah.
So it's not going to work like that anymore.
Right.
So it's overall more balance is what they're going for.
Yeah. Cool.
There's nothing else? I mean, you obviously watched the E3 conferences. There's nothing else?
Well, I've played through Arkham Asylum, so Arkham City seems cool.
That's a natural one, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely something I'm going to keep my eye on.
That's definitely something I'll probably be getting as soon as it comes out.
I got
because
that. I got Arkham Asylum. I think, did it come out around Christmas?
I don't know, actually, because I kind of ignored it when it came out.
Ah, right.
I wasn't interested in it. I saw the demo, and it just looked like just a beat 'em up, and I was like, yeah, all right, whatever, you know. And my friend Joey was like, you have to get this or you're gay. And I'm like, all right, I'll look into it. But then I would just put it off, and then one day he's like, no, seriously, if you don't get this, I'm going to have your balls. And I was like, okay, all right. So I finally found it for like really cheap, and I was like, all right, let's see what the big deal is. And I was playing, like, holy shit, this is amazing.
Yeah.
How could I be so stupid? He's right. It was gay not to get it.
The only complaint I had with that game was the lack of variety in the bosses.
Well, I don't know. I thought that, you know, each of them was kind of their own thing.
Well, sure. I mean, I found when I was playing through it was the mutants again, and like the Joker at the end was essentially the same boss you fought at the beginning, just a bit stronger.
Yeah, but you had that Poison Ivy fight. That was something completely different.
I can't even remember that. What happened in that fight?
She was, encased in a huge plant, and you had to roll around and avoid all the
Oh god, yeah.
vines and
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that was almost like a Legend of Zelda type of boss.
Yeah.
So that was something completely different.
That was good.
But I definitely look forward to Arkham City. That's definitely on my list of things that I have to get.
Apart from that, no particular games really jumped out at me from E3.
Okay. Well, what, you mean you're not going to get Modern Warfare 3?
No. The last Call of Duty game I got was Modern Warfare, the first one.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, you gotta sort of separate the series itself from the goobers that play it too. There's really nothing wrong with the series.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. Modern Warfare 2 wasn't that great, but
the thing is, I don't play on Xbox Live anyway. I rarely do it. It's like a 48-hour trial every now and then I play.
Yeah.
So
well, Black Ops had a very good campaign.
The thing is, though, I don't really justify buying that game for the single player when the single player is going to last me 6 hours at best, probably. Yeah. When I could easily pay the same amount of money, or even.
So you'd rather play a 30-hour game that you're never going to beat.
Honestly, yeah.
Well, hey, whatever you prefer, right? Yeah. All right. Well, it was good having you on, but we got to wrap this up now.
Yeah, okay.
So I'll have to have you on again sometime, and you could tell me about cold and FIFA and bangers and mash and sausage rolls.
Oh, okay.
So check out his channel, 666 Skater Kyle 666, and see how somebody could play Zelda 3 for 20 videos and not get halfway through it yet.
Oh god, yeah.
How many videos do you estimate it's going to take? One last question here.
30, 35.
Oh, you see, I could have played through the game twice.
Yeah.
Especially with 15-minute video. Because I did it in 18, and that was only 10-minute videos.
God, yeah.
So,
I'm a slow...
Maybe you should watch my playthrough.
I'm going to have to.
Yeah, and just maybe you're wandering around too much. Or
I think the thing is, I think I feel to myself that I remember the game, but then when I go to play it, I'm like, oh yeah, I go and do this. Oh wait, no, I don't. I go and do this. Oh no, I go and do this.
I had a few moments like that when I was playing Circle of the Moon, but
yeah,
I got through it all right. I was like 20 videos, something like that.
That's quite good.
22, I think. But anyway, yeah, we gotta go. So we're gonna get back to the show now.
See ya.
Well, that's pretty much the show. Let's end it as we always do with the sales figures for the week. And so here we have the top 10 best-selling games of the week ending in June 11th. At number 1 we have Infamous... Oh, this is in America. Infamous 2 on PlayStation 3 sold 244,806 copies. L.A. Noire on the Xbox 360 sold 67,789 copies. Wii Sports Resort on the Wii sold 61,555 copies. Mario Kart Wii on the Wii sold 59,990 copies. Wii Sports on the Wii sold 56,220 copies. L.A. Noire on PlayStation 3 sold 55,170 copies. Red Faction Armageddon on Xbox 360 sold 52,137 copies. Just Dance 2 on the Wii sold 45,511 copies. Wii Fit Plus on the Wii sold 44,427 copies. And Zumba Fitness on the Wii sold 40,768 copies. In Japan, the top-selling game was Ryu... God, what a title. Ryu no ga Goku... I'm sorry, let me try this again. Ryu ga Gotoku of the End, and we would actually call that Yakuza of the End. For PlayStation 3, sold 309,058 copies, and that was popular, but it's a big gap to number 2. Biohazard The Mercenaries 3D, or we'd call it Resident Evil The Mercenaries 3D, on the 3DS sold 16,025 copies. Battle and Get Pokemon Typing DS on the DS sold 11,554 copies. Dragon Quest Monsters Joker 2 Professional on the DS sold 10,479 copies. One Piece Unlimited Cruise SP for the 3DS sold 9,498 copies. Gekiatsu Paki Game Tamashi Volume 1 Evangelon Shinjitsu no Tsubasa. That's on the PlayStation Portable, and it sold 6,677 copies. Wii Party on the Wii sold 5,881 copies. Akiba's Trip on the PlayStation Portable sold 5,764 copies. Pro Yaku Spirits 2011 on the PlayStation Portable sold 5,374 copies. And Patapon 3 on the PlayStation Portable sold 5,349 copies. In Europe, the big selling game was Infamous 2 for PlayStation 3, sold 75,250 copies. Duke Nukem Forever on Xbox 360 sold 72,974 copies. Wii Sports Resort on the Wii sold 65,385 copies. Duke Nukem Forever on PlayStation 3 sold 63,556 copies. Wii Sports on the Wii sold 58,220 copies. L.A. Noire on the PlayStation 3 sold 47,303 copies. Mario Kart Wii on the Wii sold 40,158 copies. L.A. Noire on Xbox 360 sold 36,732 copies. Zumba Fitness on the Wii sold 35,093 copies. And Duke Nukem Forever for PC sold 29,976 copies. So overall, the top 10 best-selling games worldwide: Infamous 2 on PS3, Yakuza of the End on PS3, Wii Sports Resort, Wii Sports, L.A. Noire for 360, Mario Kart Wii, L.A. Noire for PS3, Zumba Fitness, Red Faction Armageddon, and Duke Nukem Forever on 360. So moving on to hardware sales, in America, the top best-selling console was the Wii, with 95,114 units moved. After that was the PlayStation 3. It moved 49,658 units. Before that, the Xbox 360, 71,883 units. Then the PlayStation 3. Then the DS, 46,540 units. The 3DS, 28,396 units. And the PlayStation Portable, 17,422 units. In Japan, the top best-selling console was the PlayStation Portable, with 26,718 units moved. The 3DS moved 24,401 units. The PlayStation 3, 16,746 units. The DS, 7,645 units. The Wii, 6,420 units. And the Xbox 360, 2,345 units. In Europe, the top best-selling console was the Wii, 80,653 units sold. After that, the PlayStation 3, 61,039 units. The Xbox 360, 43,089 units. The DS, 40,313 units. PlayStation Portable, 32,653 units. And the 3DS, 26,896 units. So worldwide, That week, the best-selling console was the Wii, followed by PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, DS, 3DS, and PlayStation Portable. So there you have it. That's our show. We'll see you next week. I'm going to try and get that Tanya from Kizareth Studios to do an interview. I think that would be pretty cool. So I'm going to see about asking her. See you next week. VMX out.